mic. Yeah, what's up, YouTube? We should be live on YouTube. We're just starting the Facebook live stream. Hope everyone is well today. I used a picture of Lucy Letby on the screen, but the live is not actually a Lucy Letby live. Let me just adjust this a little bit. Yeah, the live is not actually a Lucy Letby live, guys. This is a live about the NHS and socialized healthcare. So we're not live yet on TikTok, so just bear with me. It's going to be a good live, though. I can tell you that for free. We love it, we love it, we love it. Yeah, I know YouTube family joins first, so if you guys just stick around and wait, we'll be live on all platforms shortly. The live stream is just coming in on Facebook and TikTok. Okay, we're about to go live on the Facebook. Perfect. I love it. And we're about to go live on TikTok. 3, 2, 1. Perfect. We are live. This is one of my favorite topics to talk about, primarily because, as everyone knows, the NHS killed my daughter. I won't stop talking about it because it just makes me feel better, knowing that I can at least hold these people accountable with the truth, and knowing that they have to be paranoid all the time, thinking about, like, who's going to tell. I mean, if I was responsible for a child's death and I knew the person was going around telling everyone, like, I would never be able to rest in peace or live in peace. It'd just be constant, stress. What's up, Dark Heart? What's up, FPV Freestyle? What's up, It's Lucy B? What's up, Lil? What's up, Jacob Wojcik? What's up, Emerald Girl? This should be a good live discussion. I noticed this live attracts a lot of people because they come to defend the NHS. And I always wonder, more than their defenses of the NHS, which some of them are valid, I always wonder, why do they feel the need to defend it so badly? Like, why are they so triggered? If I made a live saying McDonald's are criminals, or these people are criminals, that person's criminal, everyone like, oh yeah, but when you say the NHS, oh no, Dickie, isn't that right? What's up, Bob Hodge? What's up, DS? What's up, Kevin O? What's up, Sheena? What's up, I don't know? What's up, Marvelous Fa? What is it with the UK's need to defend a system that is not working? That's what I want to know. That's the question for the live today. So if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, the live stream I have on TikTok is always more of a kind of a bait to draw people in. So this one's entitled "The NHS Are Criminals?" ? And we can get into the nuances of that. And I think there's a fair case to be made that many of the NHS trusts have organised crime, organised criminality within them. That's not to say that your auntie Besma is a criminal. What's up, The Abyss? What's up, Shim? What's up, Ash? We got some new messages. Oh, we got a requester as well. So, in any other country, you would not get free medical care, even if you have to wait a bit longer. So you see, this is exactly what I'm talking about how they downplay it. So first and foremost, he's got free medical care. So there's no free medical care in the UK, right? So this is you see the strange thing? So they believe it's free. It's not free, even if you have to wait a bit longer. So you see how he downplays the wait a bit longer? So you're paying for something, but then you're waiting longer for it. But that's okay. But anything else in your life, if you ordered if you ordered some food, right, from Uber Eats, and it comes the next day, are you going to be happy? Are you going to be like, well, at least we got the food, even though we have to wait a bit longer? Even if it was free, you'd be pissed because you're like, I wanted my food yesterday. I didn't want my food today. Right? So the waiting time is the healthcare. That's what people don't seem to understand. Waiting time is the healthcare. And user 466, the reason why you think it's not comparable is because you're used to waiting. So you don't even know that it's not normal. Do you understand? You're used to waiting, so you think that it's normal. Brian says, what on earth is this about? I'll let you up. We need to get to 1K likes, so we got some like targets in this live. Pappy Pepperoni says, the BRITIS with another letter after RYT. Brian says, what on earth is this about? What's your point? Brian, why do you feel the need to even comment. I mean, it's pretty obvious what we're talking about. You could just listen. Jacob says, you think in other countries they don't wait and the waiting room is not busy? The waiting room is busy in the emergency room in many countries, but it's not the same as the UK because the UK is the longest waiting list in the entire world. I don't know if you are aware of that the UK has the longest waiting list in the entire world. Do you think that that's meaningless? The fact that people are waiting sometimes up to a year for healthcare? Why do I think it is? It's because socialized healthcare systems in countries with a lot of immigration, where more and more people are dependent on the system, and an aging population, don't work. So we should be transitioning to a mixed healthcare model. That's what people would be telling you if they were being honest with you, but instead they make you believe that privatized healthcare is bad, and that if you transition to a mixed healthcare model, that things are going to be terrible, even though less people will die. Vicky of the Star says, my dad got told here that his health was perfect, and then when he went to Poland, he got told he had diabetes and high blood pressure and arthritis. Yeah, that is a very common story. Jacob says he agrees with a mixed healthcare model. Perfect. Beat Boop says we need a nurse doctor run healthcare system, not the government. I notice a lot of people as well. They always have the same arguments, and this tells me that people aren't thinking outside the box. They say the exact same things. A nurse doctor run healthcare system is not going to solve any of the problems. The government doesn't run healthcare. The NHS runs healthcare. People would like to deflect onto the government, but the government gives the NHS trust through, is it the ICBs? Well, it's through Department of Health and Social Care. I think it then goes to the ICBs, and then it goes to the NHS Trust. I think, yeah, I've got the NHS England website here. Oh, no, it goes to NHS England first. So, yeah, NHS England, then it goes Integrated Care Boards, yeah. Then from Integrated Care Boards, I believe it goes to the trusts. So, essentially, the government is not running the NHS. Well, they're running it in the sense of they support it, they provide money for it, but they are not the reason why the NHS is bad. We've reached 1K. Ars has been following your story. Been following your story. Sorry, one sec. Been following your story. Similar experience. My daughter was stillborn due to negligence. I'm sorry to hear that. Did they cover it up? Oh, still fighting. So they're covering it up. Typical. The trash man says, listen, no NHS will work. Complain if you go private. Please do us a favor and get health insurance. So another stupid and moot argument, because I do have private healthcare. One, and two, are you saying that I should be able to opt out of NHS taxes? Because if you're saying that, then I'll agree with you. But if you're saying I should have to pay for the NHS and then I should not be allowed to complain about it, then I would say that you're a fool. What's up, user 466? I'm not scared to debate you, bro. Oh, sorry, one sec. Let's put you on Bluetooth. Don't speak for a sec, because hold on. We need to make sure that everyone can hear you. Hold on. We need to put your voice through in the wait. Hold on.
It's a fact.
Hold on. Okay, start now. Now the live stream viewers can hear you.
By what lawful authority do you have to question the NHS?
What? Say that again.
What lawful authority do you have to call the NHS criminals?
I think, is this a troll?
No, it's just a question. You can choose to answer it, you can choose to not answer it.
Okay, so why would somebody need lawful authority to question the NHS?
Because you're slandering a whole organisation that is responsible for caring for you. And you're that silver spoon, you're that entitled. You have this American level of entitlement where you think NHS is you don't care for it. And you know what? You want a private healthcare system? You'll be crying in 3 years. You'll be crying.
Do you know what a mixed healthcare model is?
I do know it is, but it's terrible.
So I'm saying that I want a mixed healthcare model. So do you have a problem with that?
I do.
Do you have a problem
with it?
Why do you have a problem with a mixed healthcare model?
Once you start, if you privatise an inch, they'll be privatising a mile.
Really?
Margaret Thatcher.
Is that what happened in Australia and Germany?
It's what happened in this country.
Is that what happened in Australia and Germany and Ireland?
It's what happened in the UK.
Is that what happened in Australia, Germany and Ireland?
It doesn't matter Australia, Germany.
Is that what happened in the United States? Is that what happened in the United States?
Yes, they privatise everything.
No, it's not. The United States
Yep.
healthcare system is becoming more socialized, not more privatized. So there's
It's
no evidence to suggest that introducing privatization necessarily means more and more privatization.
There's actually plenty of evidence, sir.
Okay, tell us some of it.
So, Margaret Thatcher, when she started privatising a bit, the public thought it was only going to be a bit.
She didn't
Then
privatize the NHS.
What do you say?
She didn't privatize the NHS.
Yeah, because even she knew it would be a terrible idea.
So there's no
Even
evidence
she-
that privatizing healthcare will lead to more and more privatization. In fact,
America.
the healthcare in the UK hasn't been privatized for what, 70, 80 years?
So if you look at America, you have to pay $5,000 just to live. If you get into accident, you have to pay for it.
You have to
So
pay for
you're-
healthcare everywhere in the world.
It is a criminalisation of accidents. It's not your fault.
It's
you've
not
got into accident.
criminalization to have to pay for something.
Yes, it is.
So
It's
is it
basically
criminalization that you have to pay taxes towards healthcare?
Well, taxes.
Mate, I'm
Or
completely
not.
running rings around you.
I'm
This
running
is
rings around you.
this is the debate that you think I was scared of.
Taxes are not the same as immediate payment.
You don't have to
So
pay.
get that
You don't
right.
have to pay immediately in the USA.
And also, if you're under certain wage, you don't have to pay that much tax. Yes, you do. Yes, you
You're
do.
just escaping every point that I mean.
Yes,
You
yes,
don't
yes, you
you
do.
don't have to pay immediately, and you haven't
Yes,
given
you do.
any evidence to suggest your
Yeah,
point
but
that
it
you made
puts
before
debt.
about.
You have to be a debt slave to America. This is what you want in the UK.
Oh, but you prefer being a debt slave to the government?
Well, taxes aren't debt.
Yeah, because they're due immediately, which is actually even worse than debt.
No, it's not. If you
So
make a
so you're
profit, you
saying
have to pay.
you're saying if I say to you, you have to pay me money right now, you're saying that's not worse than saying you have to pay money over the next 4 or 5 years.
Because you have to earn a certain income. You're immature.
No.
You don't understand
Listen to the
value of
question.
life.
Listen to the question, because you've escaped every point.
I've
If
not
you don't
escaped a
want to
single
answer the
question.
points, then I'll move on to somebody else. You have to address.
You just
the
don't
point.
like the answers.
You have to address.
You want an answer that suits you.
Don't talk over me. You have to address the points being raised. Otherwise, we're not having a conversation, right? Are you saying that you made the point that you think paying money immediately is better than paying money later? Can you explain a bit more why you believe that?
I believe that because it is a fairer system than it keeps you in shackles, just like how you people in shackles in Africa. Because what it does is it keeps you a slave.
How is paying money illegal? This is the final opportunity you're gonna have. Why?
You just don't like the answers to the questions you're put forth.
Why is paying immediately better? Just calm down, because I know you got your knickers in the twist. You're excited because you got some people watching you and stuff. You know, just calm down. We
You're
can have a
only
normal
40 people.
discussion. I don't have to kick you off. If you keep being stupid and disrespecting, then obviously it will end the discussion, and then you'll complain and say, "Oh, why did you kick me off?" All you have to do is act like an adult and answer basic questions. Yeah, I'm here for you, bro. Okay, just calm down. Why is paying money immediately better than spreading a payment over a long period of time? Tell us. Oh, he ran. Okay, so this is the point. I think he was trolling anyway. So let's just move on from him and not give him too much time of day. So we got some people saying that I'm mad because I lost my child, and he said you're mad because you lost your baby, but many people have been saved by the NHS. I've never said that. But there are people that are evil or do bad things that also do good things, and the NHS saves people. The NHS also kills people. The NHS probably saves more people than it kills. The problem is that when they kill people, they don't take accountability, they cover up, and they put people through hell. When they make medical errors, or when they don't know the solution to a problem, they put people through hell. So it's not, I don't think it's wrong to criticize the NHS. In fact, people criticize the NHS all the time. You guys just have a problem with who is criticizing the NHS, because there's a serious issue with classism in the UK. If you are of a certain class, in other words, if you're part of the government, if you're part of the healthcare elite, you are allowed to speak about the NHS. If you are a person that is forced to pay taxes towards the NHS, you will be attacked by the citizens of your own country for telling the truth about the issues in the healthcare system, even though they actually harm you. And they will argue that, like, why is that why or VVV? I can't tell. They will argue that if you're not part of their system, that somehow you're not allowed to speak on their system. So if I haven't worked for the NHS, does that mean I can't speak about them? Does that mean I can't be victimized by them? Does that mean that I no longer have to pay taxes towards them? Because obviously working within the NHS biases you towards them, because they literally tell you, protect the NHS. They force you to work in certain environments. Sometimes people are forced to be involved in cover-ups. There's a cliquey bullying culture. There's a culture of over-management. So obviously being part of that system is going to bias you, because most people that realize that they are evil will leave. Jay says, not me, bro. I work for them. It's evil, a lot of it. Yeah. So we have to call out what they're doing. And you don't work for them, or you don't know the half of it, or you're not qualified. Those responses are not going to fly. You know, you can act all tough online. Oh, you can't speak on it. But we're going to speak on it. What are you going to do about it? You're not going to do nothing. We're going to speak on it. So if you don't have any proper arguments to make, just leave. If you don't want to, have an intelligent adult discussion about the issues in the system and how to fix them, just leave. Like, you're not qualified. Okay, if I'm not qualified, then go. You don't have to listen. And now the gaslighting. So I'm sure YYY works for the NHS, because I'm very good at detecting the types of behaviors that they typically use. So you see how he's attacked me. He said, I don't know the half of it. He's claimed that I'm not qualified to speak about it. And then now he's trying to gaslight me. Now he's saying, why are you being defensive? But he was being defensive. He was saying he was being defensive of the NHS, right? And then he now reverses who the victim and offender are, because I'm obviously a victim of the NHS. And then he pretends that I'm being defensive. So the only way you can deal with people like this is by muting them, because he works for the NHS, right? NHS don't listen to the patients, and neglect and gaslighting is rife. Yep. Abi says, I've also worked for the NHS. That's irrelevant. You don't need to work for the NHS. Jay says, there are many cliques in hospitals. Certain races stay together, do no work, and cause harm to people. Okay, I appreciate why actually requesting to speak on the live, because I always give you the chance to speak. I don't like when people type away nonsense. What's up? I'm just going to call you 5 Wires.
Hello.
Hello.
I don't know why you're so defensive, man. I was asking you a question. I was agreeing with you.
I'm not being defensive.
I mean, you were, to be honest.
Okay, so let's go back. Let's scroll back up to your comments and see if we can't hold you accountable. Okay.
Yeah, man.
So hold on a second. Oh, I muted you, so your comments went away. Let me see if I can. I don't know if I can.
Mark, I can tell you the comments.
You said that I don't know what I'm talking about.
No. That wasn't the comment.
Okay.
The comment said. The first comment was, have you ever worked within the NHS?
Yeah.
It was just a question. The second comment was, having worked within the NHS, you don't know the half of it.
Yeah.
I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying you don't know half of the stuff that goes on in there. It's a lot worse than what you think.
I stand corrected. I apologise.
It's bad. It's really bad.
I'm
As
sorry,
someone who
man.
left the NHS due to bullying,
I'm
it's
sorry.
fucking horrific.
Guys, I've just made myself look like a complete knob. I'm sorry. I misunderstood your. This is why, actually, I don't even know how I can unmute as well. This is why I don't like even going with the comments. I like when people come up and speak, because you can see how I just completely misinterpreted what you said. I'm sorry about that, man.
Yeah, sweet.
Yeah.
But
so sorry, go on, say what you were saying.
Bad. It is horrific. I was in there. I got bullied to death by new management. It is bad. They're only asked about money in there. I've seen lies left, right, and centre. I was part of the people that had to report on the COVID deaths. We were told to lie outright. It's awful, lad. It's awful. People get away with murder in that place.
When you say you were told to lie, can you break that down a bit more for the followers? Thank you for the people following as well. Press the follow button if you just joined. So Wire's about to tell us he was told to lie about COVID deaths. Please.
So do you know what continuing healthcare is?
Yes.
So I worked within a continuing healthcare team, and I was the person responsible for reporting the deaths within that team for COVID. There were multiple people who died through various diseases, Parkinson's, people who died through late stage dementias. They didn't have COVID for 6 to 8 months, and we were still told to put them down as COVID deaths by management. Not high-end management, like basic level team managers. It wasn't the people at the top. They were telling them to tell everyone to lie, so everyone had to lie.
And were they doing that because the hospitals were receiving approximately 15k for every COVID death that they were reporting?
I don't know that one. I don't know.
Okay.
Money for that.
Yeah, I have a contact that was telling me I think they were getting 12k for when a COVID death happens. So that was incentivizing them to report the COVID deaths as COVID deaths.
It wouldn't surprise me, to be honest with you. That's how bad it is at the moment.
Yeah. However,
the NHS is, to be honest, the COVID stuff was a lot to do with the government as well. The government misused and lied about COVID diagnoses to get them out of hospital, to get them free funding. So all the NHS COVID money that was meant to be used on people with COVID was used to get people out of hospital and not use social services money.
Right,
So
interesting.
that was another incentive for them to save their own pockets, use the government, use the NHS money.
Would you be interested in doing an interview? Because I have a lot of people on my interview list lined up for my online platform. I think it'd be interesting to speak to someone because you were basically a first-hand witness saying about you were told to lie about the COVID deaths.
Yeah, I'd be down when.
All right, that might make up for the fact that I muted you due to my own ignorance. Right,
Sweet,
I've
lad.
given you a follow. I'll try and see if I can contact you after this.
Come on.
Yeah.
Sounds?
All right. Also, what's your name?
Josh,
Josh. All right, Josh. I'll just make
it's
it.
nice to speak to you, man.
Nice speaking to you, mate.
Have a good day, lad.
All right. Okay. So, anybody else want to speak? We've got PH saying it was the common cold apart from the coronavirus. Okay. Jay says a lot of people think the NHS has money. The logistics team has spent millions on just regular stock. They do have money. They have money and they waste it, like how they wasted it on the COVID vaccines. That was billions. Stel says, funny how we know the social services and NHS are criminal con artists. Yeah, they are an organized criminal mafia. Their sole job is to cause destruction in society, to attack people who are able to speak out about the truth. And the police are also involved with them. And the police use the draconian legal system to attack, silence, and victimize people who speak out about public sector corruption. They use arrests for speech offences. They use court orders, and they use frame-ups, quite frankly. So Poker G says, so absolutely no evidence of any claim made. Anyone can just talk. Don't make it true. Well, you can believe that if you want, Poker G. I'm not as so naive as to believe that there isn't corruption in health and social care. I've seen it. My daughter's death was covered up. In fact, exactly what he just spoke about, I've experienced it firsthand. So I don't need evidence because I witnessed it with my own eyes that my daughter was killed in front of me and they put her death down as COVID. So I don't personally need evidence from him. I mean, if you disagree, that's all well and good, but I don't know what evidence would you need, because obviously if they're saying that the death was misrepresented, then the death certificate is going to say that the death was something different. So it would be virtually impossible to provide evidence of something like that. But I'm sure there are forms of evidence. I can't, off the top of my head, tell you what those are. You seem to be cynical, and there's nothing wrong with being cynical. But people who are cynical in defense of the NHS, yeah, I question them. Jadon says, killed in front of you and you didn't intervene. She was on she was on a ventilator, so she was killed by misuse of the ventilator. So she wasn't physically killed like by getting stabbed or something. She was killed because her machine malfunctioned. So I don't know what you expect me to do in that instance, but I know you're just trying to antagonize. Oh, well, let's see. Maybe you'll apologize. Britpack says NHS are criminals. Rossiter, let's see. We've got 62 people in the live, guys. Tap the screen to like the live and boost us in the algorithm. My fan's too loud. It's not a fan. That's my printer. Hold on one sec. I don't think I can even turn it down. Yeah, sorry lads, I can't turn it down. Pokey G says word of mouth is not evidence. First-hand witnesses are actually evidence of something. But it just may not be the kind of evidence that you're looking for. You just don't know whether they're first-hand witnesses or not. I'm obviously a first-hand witness, so you could technically take what I say as evidence. You can look up my story online and see that my daughter was killed by the NHS. I can show you her death certificate that says it was COVID, and then I can play you recordings of them saying that she was killed by a ventilator malfunction. So that would be evidence. So I have evidence. Jay says, so when someone goes on the stand, that's not evidence. Exactly. No, personal testimony is the least reliable form of testimony. Pokey G, you realise that Lucy Letby is in prison based on that exact form of evidence. So the court obviously recognises people's testimony as evidence. That's why you can have expert testimony and that can imprison someone. And you can also have witness testimony from a layman that can also imprison someone. So he's told you he works for the NHS. Anyway, let's move on. May as well let our hella prisoners because word is not evidence. Exactly. Hit those buzzwords. Oh, okay. I get it. So we've now realised that you didn't understand what I just said. That's why you referred to what I said as the use of buzzwords. That automatically tells me that your ability to comprehend is not that good. And because you have poor comprehension skills, which is a fundamental component of fluid intelligence, that tells me that you're probably a low IQ individual And so because you're a low IQ individual, engaging with you on an intellectual level is going to prove to be a futile effort. And thereby I will designate your behavior as derailing of the live because you don't want to engage, or you are incapable of engaging on an intellectual level, and thereby you'll be muted. Therefore you'll be muted. Okay, Poker G, I didn't put you down. I clearly just broke down why you're being muted. I broke down how it's not likely that we'll be able to engage with you because of your lack of intelligence, and so your constant interference is going to derail the live discussion. Britpack says, bring me up, bro. Aaliyah says, I'm a diabetic and epileptic, and the NHS quite literally admitted to me they neglected me in my teens. Funny how they admit it when it's past the limitation period where you can sue. What's up?
Hi, bro. I just came to say, first of all, sorry about the loss of your daughter. That's horrible what the NHS have done. And yes, they do unalive people. They unalived my dad as well. He had a heart attack and it took more than an hour to arrive, and they did it on purpose. They told my mum that he's going to be fine. They took their sweet time on purpose and he was unalived by them. So I know for sure that they definitely do this. Also, I'm just looking at the statistics. There's about 12,000 unalivings every year in the NHS linked to negligence and avoidable errors. So anyone can go look it up. It is happening. It does.
And that's the ones they admit. That's what they admit. They cover up probably 90%. I've never met a person in my entire life who's experienced NHS negligence who has told me that they admitted it. Not a single person. Not a single person. And I know probably 100 to 200 people that have experienced NHS negligence. And not a single... And I've spoken to all of them on the phone. And not a single one of them, or in person, and not a single one of them has told me when they did it, they admitted what they did wrong and then they held themselves accountable. Every single one said, after a year of them lying, I got justice. After 5 years of them lying, I got justice. I never got justice. I've spoken to people that experienced medical harm in the 90s who still haven't had justice. I've spoken to a woman that said she hasn't been able to leave her house for 20 years because the NHS killed her child and covered it up. And they, she still didn't get justice. PH says they tortured me, still traumatizes me now when I think about it. I've also been tortured by the NHS, psychologically tortured. That's one of the torts that I'm bringing in court. Intentional infliction of emotional distress by way of torture, breach of Protection from Harassment Act. So very interesting as well, guys. You want to look up what's his name? There's a guy's name versus guys in St. Thomas. It was a relatively recent case, probably past 15 years, and it established that you can sue an organization, particularly the NHS, for civil harassment. So that's guys, everybody who has a potential case with the NHS and who may even have a case against an organization in future, listen very carefully to this, right? Harassment is engaging in a course of conduct that causes you alarm or distress. Yeah? That means 2 or more events that cause you alarm or distress. Yeah? Okay. Civil harassment has been established, meaning that Protection from Harassment, 1998, is a civil tort. Let me get this up for you because I want to give you guys good quality information. Civil harassment, guys in St. Thomas. One sec, Britpack. Guys in St. Thomas, case law. So this is, Madrowski versus Guys in St. Thomas. So I'm going to read this for you. The landmark case of Madrowski versus Guys in St. Thomas established that employers can be held vicariously liable for civil harassment committed by their employees under the Protection from Harassment Act. The House of Lords ruled that employers are liable for harassment by their staff if it occurs in the course of employment, regardless of whether the employer was aware of the conduct. This case provides a legal basis for employees who are bullied or harassed at work to pursue a civil claim against their employer as well as against an individual harasser. So based on this case law, it has set legal precedent that you can sue an organization for civil harassment. So the issue in, for example, my case would be that I'm not an employee of the trust that I'm suing, but I'm still going to bring it to the court and say, I believe that based on this case law, because a parent on a neonatal ward is essentially in a similar circumstance as an employee whereby they can't leave because their child is on a neonatal ward, there's obviously a necessity for a mother, for example, to be present on a neonatal ward. They are essentially in the same condition where the employer or the organization should be liable for the harassment that employees perpetrate against them. And I've just actually remembered there's a new bill being put before Parliament, I believe, regarding if you are harassed by an employee, or if you are subject to alarm or distress by an employee of an organization. I believe there's a new bill that will mean that you can be held criminally liable. The employer can be held liable. So let's look that up as well. New bill UK, employers can be held liable if a customer is harassed by an employee. Sorry, one sec, Britpack. Yes, there is a new or proposed shift in UK law that would make employers more clearly liable if a customer or any third party harasses an employee. Oh, this is if a customer harasses an employee. Okay, this is about employee protection. There's no general duty making employers liable for harassment that employees suffer from third parties. That's currently. Let's see if there's case law around civil harassment of non-employees. Sorry, go on, Britpack.
I'm sorry, I was just reading something. So I'm looking at the statistics. It's absolutely mind-boggling. In 2023, I know it's a bit ago, but 117,000 unavoidable unalivings linked to the NHS negligence. So it's a large number. It's way larger than I thought. It's in the hundreds and thousands every year.
And that doesn't include necessarily deaths of people on waiting lists as well, which is also technically negligent. And it doesn't include what they cover up. But there's no way of us knowing what they cover up. So I've just read here under the.
Oh yeah, go on.
Sorry, just want to address this point. Under the Equality Act, employer liability for harassment by third parties. No, I meant employer. Hold on. We've got Burton and Rule. This is an employment tribunal. 2 hotel waitresses were subject to racial offences. Much. No, I mean harassment of customers or patrons by employees. Yeah, go on, Britpack.
Yeah, sorry. I've got a bit of lag on my side. So I have a question. The question was, right, so in my particular case, for example, with my dad, I know they intentionally did it, because it took 1 hour to get there when the hospital's only 10 minutes around the corner, and they took an hour to get there, an hour to get him to the hospital, and they kept saying, oh, it's going to be fine. So they intentionally took long. But anyway, so some of the reasons they do neglect, the conditions are not caught early enough, the system failures, etc. We all know about that. There's some preventable diseases that, they're not managing properly. So there's a lot of things we all know about. However, though, how do we prove intention, say if we're in a court of law? Like if I want to get them done for what they did to me and I'll take it to court, how can I prove intent?
So intent, this is a situation I'm going through as well. Intent, you'll have to prove through either circumstantial evidence, inconsistency. I'm making the argument in court that the vexatiousness of the false allegation against against me is tantamount to malice. Because let's say you make one false allegation against someone that's proven to be false, they may say, oh, it was a mistake. But if they do it 50 times, my argument in court is going to be that is essentially evidence of malice. There's also statements that are made. So, for example, when I did a report to the hospital consultants that we were being abused by the staff, the local authority documented that the doctor said to her after I made that complaint, that the doctor said to the social worker that I'm playing the victim, right? So that is evidence of malice. That's evidence that you perceive me complaining about the abuse I'm experiencing in a way where you are disregarding it. Because malice, let's get the definition of malice, right? So malice is the deliberate desire or intention to harm, injure, or suffer or cause harm, injury, or suffering to another person, often stemming from active ill will, hatred, or spite. Now, I believe malice can be an act by omission. For example, like, let's say you're a doctor and someone needs treatment, and you say, you're heard on recording saying, I'm not going to treat them because I just hate the way they look, right? That you didn't do anything, but you didn't do something that you should have done, right? That's evidence of malice. So you can actually, my position, I could be wrong, I'm not a lawyer, but from my research, I would suggest that evidence of malice can be acts of omission, things that they didn't do, things that they said, corroborating statements, inconsistencies, vexatiousness. Those are evidence of malice. Or another thing could be Equality Act breaches. In other words, treating one person one way and treating another person another way. Under the it depends what tort you're using as well. Under the Equality Act, you don't even need to prove malice because they take your evidence prima facie. So if you say, for example, I was mistreated on this ward, and they say, well, yeah, and the court says, yep, okay, it's possible that he was mistreated. We're going to take this prima facie. We're going to take it on the face of it. The burden of proof then shifts onto the defendant to show how they didn't mistreat you. So let's say, for example, if you say, I was mistreated, I wasn't given a glass of water, but this white person was given a glass of water, just for example, that's evidence that you were subject to detriment. They will have to prove their argument. It will rest on them to say why you weren't given a glass of water. If they can't come up with a decent reason, this is just an example, but if they can't come up with a decent reason why you weren't given a glass of water, then they will rule in favor of you because you don't have to prove that they were malicious. So it depends on what tort you're trying to prove. Like, what are you trying to sue them for that you would need to prove malice for?
Yeah, thanks for teaching me. So, like I said, they unalived my dad because what they did, they turned up and they took long and they were laughing and joking, chatting outside on their phones, having breaks and stuff. And they basically took 2 hours to get him to the hospital when the hospital's 10 minutes around the corner. And they kept saying, he's going to be fine.
It will be so difficult to prove malice in a case like that because there's so much case law that allows them to say, oh, we were short-staffed, oh, we were trying to boost the morale, oh, you know, it'll be so difficult to prove that unless you had like a recording of someone being like, I'm just going to joke around instead of going to treat the patient. Do you get me?
Yeah. So that's what happened. I got excuses of, like they're busy, they have... they gave me a ton of excuses. But what I was going to say, there's some good news though. I've just been looking at the stats of how many people successfully sued the NHS for medical negligence. About 8,000 per year successfully suing them. So it's good sign. Obviously, it's not enough. They need to do more, but just saying it's a good bit of good news, bit of hope.
They settle out of court 80% of the time as well. So most people get a settlement. That's why they don't sue.
Yeah.
All right.
So I was just gonna say, have a look at some of the cases where they've been successful. Maybe look at how they did it, and maybe that will help you as well. The case studies.
Got you. Yeah. I've got a decent amount of case law, but our case is groundbreaking in a sense because it's very unusual for such a campaign of abuse to be perpetrated against a patient. You would think that normal staff would just say, we want to help these people and have them have a good life and not be bullying parents of sick patients. I mean, that's just absurd. But appreciate you, Britpack, and I hope how's things going with your daughter's case, by the way?
So I'm going through a really bad time. I've just lost my daughter to adoption. It's only been a few weeks, and I feel like as if I've when someone passes away and you're grieving, I feel like that at the moment. So it's really tough. Yeah, it's horrible. Though she's alive and she's well, I feel as if a part of me has died inside. It's awful. Yeah, and that's why I can really. That's why I like coming here because I know you've been through worse than me, and I come here to show support as well. Yeah, but it's really rough, bro. I'm not gonna lie, it's really hard. Yeah, I'm doing well in the sense that my mental health is good. Everything else is good. It's just that I'm missing my daughter and a bit heartbroken, sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you know
I'm
what
sorry.
I mean?
I'm sorry to. Of course, I know what you mean, man. I'm heartbroken for my
Yeah.
daughter every day. Like, I'm never not heartbroken. So, you know, we are brothers in this, bro. Like, and you do show a lot of support. So I appreciate you, man. And I'm sorry about the stuff that you have to go through. I'm glad your daughter's at least health wise. I hope that she's well. And you do
Tell me a
sound
few
better as well.
things. Yeah, they try to. I've sound better because of quit drinking. Yeah, I've quit. It's been 6
Yeah.
months now.
Yes, bro.
6 months sober now, and I still have my medical cannabis for pain, but but the drinking was a big problem, and I didn't realize it until I got out of it. When I was drinking, I was thinking it's helping me, but it wasn't helping me. It was making it worse. So I've had a lot of counselling and therapy over the last couple of months, and I've got off it all. It's been 6 months clean now, and I'm just looking forward to my future. The only thing is my daughter's missing, so that's really kills me every time. But I was going to just explain to you how the NHS tried to unalive my daughter as well. What they did, they
Yeah.
pulled her out a month early without without asking me or without consulting with me. They pulled her out a month early when she didn't need to be pulled out a month early, and now she's come out tiny. She's half the size of a regular baby. She's not grown at all. It doesn't look like a full baby. It looks like a half of a baby. It is quite sad and scary to look at because they pulled her out early, and she's been struggling all the way through with health issues. Last month they rang me, told me she had COVID. I nearly had another heart attack because I was like, oh no, they're trying to unalive my daughter. Because I asked them questions, things like, well, how can a baby get COVID and all of this? Can you explain this thing about babies getting COVID? Because you know about this.
Mate, I don't believe COVID is real. So
Yeah,
you're
I
asking the
don't
wrong
believe
person.
it.
But they tried to say
say-
my daughter had
yeah.
COVID. What they do is they if the child tests positive for COVID, then they obviously it's completely unscientific even if you do think COVID is real, because they say basically that if there's a positive test, then that means that what caused the symptoms that the child is experiencing is caused by COVID. But simply a correlation, i.e. a positive test, doesn't necessarily mean that symptoms are caused by
Yeah.
that positive test. So
No,
that's what they did in my
I
daughter's
don't
test.
believe this. Yeah, I don't believe COVID is true. I just want to make that clear. I'm totally against vaccines and this and that, but I had to learn the hard way. I had the vaccine, then I had a heart attack, then I realised that I'd been lied to all this time. My dad's a doctor, you see, and he's a senior doctor, so I always used to believe everything he told me, but then I woke up after having the jab. And anyway, so when they told me that my daughter had COVID, I didn't believe it. I knew they was lying. I was angry. I wanted answers, and they couldn't answer none of my questions. Didn't make sense to me. It's like they lied and pretended she had COVID when she didn't, because COVID doesn't even exist.
Exactly.
So my point is here, when that happened, I remembered your story, and it triggered me because I thought, oh no, they're trying to unalive my daughter and pretend she had COVID and all that when COVID doesn't even exist.
Someone said, I have long COVID like other, is it something severe acute respiratory syndromes that cause ME/CFS? Sorry, I'm not too familiar with. Is that encephalitis or something? What's that thing called again? I don't know what those stand for, but okay. Yeah, I don't believe that your condition is caused by a virus. It could be caused by an immune response that you've had to something. It could be caused by another chronic thing. I don't believe that's caused by a virus. That's not to discount your suffering or your condition or to say that you don't think that. You're entitled to think what you want. I personally believe that diseases are caused by other things than viruses. So no disrespect to you.
I'll
Or
give you an
not trying to
example.
gaslight you,
My
because I know
friend-
that can be difficult for people when people gaslight them or try and discount their experience.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to gaslight you,
for me-
viewer.
Yeah, no, for me, with my friend, he passed away with COVID, but I looked at the death certificate and I don't believe it. It says something about his heart, so his real condition was something to do with his heart, but what they've stuck on there is COVID to get bonuses.
Yes.
That's what I believe from the evidence, yeah.
And it's also very convenient because if you can allege that a death is COVID, then what more investigation needs to be done? An invisible virus came along, landed on someone's tongue, and then it killed them. Now it's not medical negligence. Now it's not poor hospital protocols. Now it's not a fundamental misunderstanding of human biology. It's just an invisible virus that came along and did everything. It's just a
Yeah, I
convenient
want to
cop
tell
out
you.
for the medical cartel.
Yeah, one last thing was about, so they told me that it's going to take her 10 days to get better, and I can't see her for 10 days. But then they let me see her after 7 days. So that made me think, then they're BSing then, because if it was that dangerous, if it was real, why would they be letting me see her after 7 days? So they just, obviously they've been lying about this whole thing all along, yeah.
Yeah, in my opinion. Okay, let's get some of the comments. I don't want to neglect my YouTube family
All right.
because
Take care,
we're
brother.
growing.
Thanks for letting me come up. I'll
Appreciate
see you in a bit. I'm going to stay in the comments. Take care, bro.
Appreciate you, bro. So Jenny on YouTube says, "Hello, American retired nurse here. Have neonatal chart review expert and was a mum with a preemie who had great care and survived. Any questions how we handle things in America? Know a lot about Lepi case. Her unit would have been closed down here in America, unless a massive flu season. Maybe might sit outside in ambulance an hour, never for hours. Talking about U.S. care. Yep. Astonished at how poorly trained registrars are in NHS in regard to neonates. Different here in America. Registrar saved my daughter's life. If she was born at Chester Hospital, she would have died. The care in the USA is substantially superior to the UK, and it's quite sad actually that we don't know this. The reason we don't know is because of propaganda, unfortunately. So in order for us to improve the healthcare system in the UK, we have to improve based on the truth, not based on lies. You cannot improve something, you cannot get better, you cannot grow, you cannot humble yourself and change if you are living a lie. You have to live based on the truth. Live, Love, Laugh says, who is baby Adora? Adora is my daughter who was killed by the NHS. So yes, we cannot live a lie and expect the NHS to get better. The truth, the cold truth that people do not want to accept is that the US healthcare system is better than the UK's. That's the cold, hard reality. It is better. They have better care, they have better technology, they have better hospitals, they have better doctors, they have better protocols, they do more scanning, they have shorter waiting lists, they have less people dependent on the system, they have more people that are able to afford care, they have more freedom of choice, they have more personal and civil rights with regard to hospital care, they have more ability to refuse treatment. Like, they have less integration of the social care system, the social services system, or CPS, into their hospital systems. The hospital system in the healthcare system in the USA is better. Now, granted, there are worse things about it. It's slightly more expensive. It's they're more dependent on, they prescribe a lot of drugs. Obviously, they had the opioid crisis, but the overall system is better. And maternity, they have higher maternal death rates, but that is really just because they have more African Americans who are like 4 times more likely to die in childbirth, 3 to 4 times more likely. Elizabeth said medical bankruptcy. A medical bankruptcy is not a thing that affects Americans, really. It's a thing that people use to not pay medical bills, and it affects like 0.1% of the population. So medical bankruptcy means you didn't pay the bills. Do you understand? It means like you got a bill of like 500k and you're like, I don't want to pay. So then you use bankruptcy to not pay. You take a hit to your credit. So you end up getting essentially free healthcare. Or very cheap healthcare for what you would have had to pay. The people that get squeezed the most are really the people that pay the private insurance premiums and then incur large healthcare bills. People that go bankrupt or people that get Medicaid, they're the ones not really paying. The people that are paying are the people that adhere to what the system wants. Pay their private insurance, pay the bills, pay the co-pays. If I lived in the USA permanently, I wouldn't get insurance because it's mathematically, it's necessarily cheaper to not have insurance. Otherwise, the insurance companies wouldn't exist because they have a profit margin. So it must be cheaper to incur substantial medical bills than to pay insurance and incur substantial medical bills. The problem is, I think some hospitals won't treat you if you don't have insurance, but some hospitals will. You just go to those ones. It's quite simple. User 802 says, NHS in the UK isn't free. We paid NI all our working lives. What do we get when we need them? It's more than just NI. It's income tax, VAT, sugar tax, fuel tax, council tax, payroll taxes of corporations, corporation tax. All manner of taxes go to the NHS. 20% of them. Battlestar says we get hit with debt collectors where they pay cents to the dollar for your medical bill. Yeah, and then you pay cents to the dollar on your medical bill when you negotiate with the. Well, you shouldn't let it get to debt collectors. It won't go to debt collectors for probably a year, based on the. Well, I don't know if the that legislation is being challenged, because I heard that I think that was Biden era legislation in the US, and it either has been challenged or repealed. I'm not certain what's happening with that year delay on effect to your credit, but you want to stop it going to collections. You either call them up and tell them, oh, I'm experiencing financial hardship, then they can negotiate up to 100% of the bill, meaning that you could potentially get it for free if you are experiencing serious financial hardship. Hospitals in the USA are obliged to do that. Or you can negotiate a payment plan of up to, there's no minimum. You can negotiate $1 a month, theoretically, $5 a month. Now, obviously, you want to negotiate something realistic, but you negotiate based on your ability to pay. So that's another reason why it makes more sense to not have the health insurance if it were possible to access the care without being insured. Some hospitals, again, won't allow you to, but it makes more sense to not have the health insurance, because then when you incur the bill, you can just tell them, I can only pay $20 a month. So then now, instead of paying high taxes towards healthcare like in the UK, instead of paying high insurance premiums like in the USA, you are paying $20 a month. And then maybe if you're in the USA, you're paying your Medicaid and Medicare tax contributions. So your contribution towards healthcare goes down to like $50 a month. Yeah, exactly. $10, $20 a month for the rest of your life. Exactly. That's not bad. Because in the UK, you're paying a guaranteed, an average of £4,400 a year, whether you like it or not, whether you get medical care or not. And what's that per month? Was it like £800? 300, way off. £370 a month. So in the UK, you're paying £370 a month. AB says, what's the offset from not paying? Credit ruin, inability to purchase a house. Your credit won't get ruined because you're making payments towards the bill. If you're making $20 a month payments towards a bill, your credit won't get ruined. You just put that on a direct debit with your bank and then just go about your business. That's not how defaulting works. Who said anything about defaulting? Why would you default? I'm not talking about defaulting. I'm talking about when they give you the bill from the hospital. Who said anything about defaulting, mate? Mo says, yep, 10 billion%. What's the topic on? The topic is the NHS and socialised healthcare. AB, do you want to tell us? You've not been able to pay the initial credit given. That's a default. No, that's not what happens with the healthcare system, because it's not that you're unable to pay it. It's that you're negotiating the payment plan. Every bill has some form of payment plan. Granted, it's possible to default if they say, we don't accept what your payment plan proposition is. But because of how lenient they are with the payment of healthcare bills in America, and because of the financial hardship regulations and the fact that they have to give leeway to people with financial hardship, if you listen carefully to what I was saying, if you tell them you're experiencing financial hardship and you tell them this is the amount that you're able to pay, then you won't default. Now, I could be wrong, but I'm fairly certain that's how it works. Should we look it up? Maybe you could come on and say your perspective better, because I'm not really understanding what you're saying. If you tell American healthcare providers that you can't pay a bill, and negotiate a payment plan, is that a default? AB, you could be right. Let's have a look. It says no. Negotiating a payment plan with a US healthcare provider is not automatically considered a default as long as you communicate early and stay within the agreement. Yeah. AB says, if you remember me from before, I always said we need to debate COVID. I would love to debate COVID with you. Yes, here's how it works in practice. Before the bill goes delinquent, if you call and explain that you can't pay in full, most hospitals will set up a payment plan or even apply financial assistance, yes. As long as you make payments as agreed, your account stays in good standing. Default only happens if you ignore the bill or miss payments after an agreement is made. If you proactively communicate and set up an approved plan, they usually note your account as active payment arrangement or pending financial assistance. Hospitals that receive federal funding must offer income-based hardship programs. So that's actually a law under IRS 501R rules. If you qualify, they can reduce or even forgive the balance. These do not count as defaults either. If your account has already gone to collections, negotiating after that point can't erase the fact that it was defaulted. So again, this is my justification as to why it doesn't even make sense to have health insurance in the USA. It makes more sense to get the care when you need it and then negotiate the payment plan. Then you're paying less than a person paying private insurance, and you're paying less than a UK citizen by far. And you're getting better healthcare than a UK citizen by far. Jenny says, I was a caseworker in America. Massive gamble if you don't have insurance. No doctor will see you for post-hospital care. Danger. Also, drugs are expensive. That's a great point. And that's the downside of it. If you don't have insurance, it's not that no doctor will see you. There are doctors that will see you. Jenny, can you go to state hospitals? Or is it just private, the private insurance hospitals that won't see you? Drugs will be very expensive. Yeah, that's true. But overall, it's going to be cheaper than paying £4,400 a year, no? If you're on a payment plan, that's like $100 a month. If you've got like diabetes, I wouldn't recommend it. Like for certain people, if you have like a chronic condition that requires you to constantly take drugs, then you want to get insurance for sure. Or go on Medicaid if you are not eligible. Or if you can't afford insurance. Did I see the Lucy Let Me Channel 4 doc? I've seen episode 1. Little Onion says, do you pay for Bupa or other private healthcare? Yes. I have Vitality. Okay. State hospitals don't exist unless you're in the military. Sure they do. I'm talking about hospitals that let me get it up. Hold on. They have state hospitals in New York. State hospitals are public hospitals that are owned and operated by a state government rather than by private companies, cities, or the federal government. They got federal hospitals and state hospitals. And the state hospitals are teaching hospitals. I know the one in New York that I'm aware of, it was a teaching hospital. Oh, yeah, like university hospitals, yeah. Health insurance is, Battlestar Zoo says, health insurance is the biggest scam. I've paid $4,000 in insurance but haven't used a doctor. Yeah, exactly. So for Battlestar, it wouldn't even make sense to have insurance, as I've been saying, unless he has some kind of chronic condition. If you have no health condition, if you have no chronic health condition, it makes absolutely no sense at all to pay health insurance. 0 cents at all. And then once you get the chronic condition, yes, it will be harder to get a lower premium, but that's why you wait for the Obamacare, Affordable Care Act insurance plans. When they come out in September, you wait for them to come around. You jump on one of those plans after you get diagnosed with your chronic condition, and then you get the access to the drugs that you need for a lower premium, and you're only paying the premium once you actually need the premium because you have a chronic condition, right? But if you're a healthy person, until that point, why would you pay insurance? Unless you got like family members that you want insured, or unless you're just wealthy and you just want to make sure that you always have access to a certain level of treatment. Decentralized says, what about health insurance or life insurance in the UK? Look, at the end of the day, insurance has its uses. Insurance is for people who want to hedge and who want another person to do the hedging for them. But if you are savvy economically, it makes more sense to save your money than to pay it to an insurance company. Mathematically, it makes more sense because there's a profit margin for insurance companies. So if everybody was saving their money, then everyone would, on average, save more money than what the insurance company would be able to provide you. It's just mathematical. Or mathematic, I guess. Is mathematical a word? Yeah, mathematical, yeah. Jenny says Obamacare is being phased out 2026. Medicaid, very difficult to get. We shall see. Is that what Trump's trying to do? He's trying to phase out Obamacare? I don't think that's good if he's trying to phase out Obamacare. But because I think that the mixed healthcare model system is a good system. But the problem with the system is that a lot of people get their bills forgiven, in the private sector. So then it's just hiking up the cost of healthcare ad infinitum in America. Because people are not paying bills and the hospitals are not making profits. And because the hospitals aren't making profits, they're getting subsidized by the state government. It's costing a lot by the state government. So I can see why they have an issue with it. But in terms of, for people, it's good policy. Now, I'm of the opinion that the people whose profits we need to target are the pharmaceutical companies. Because they're providing a lot of bullshit that we don't need en masse, like vaccines, that they're making big money on from the state governments of the world. We need to attack their profit margin. Statins, they're making big money off statins, and statins are not good for you, bro. Statins cause more harm than good. Get rid of them. And those are like two of their biggest products. The fact that you don't get any money back if you don't claim is corrupt. You mean if you don't claim on insurance? Oh yeah, well that's their business model, isn't it? And then in the UK, the fact that you don't get reimbursed your NHS taxes if you don't use it. I mean, come on, man. Like, this is why socialized healthcare, man. I just literally think it sucks. AB says that's literally insurance. Yeah, exactly. That's their business model. Where can I find information that a person is struggling to pay their healthcare costs in New York? I think you need to contact. I think there's like a state government department for that in New York. I'm not in New York right now, so I don't know. If I was in New York, I actually used to have a lot of pages up about places you can contact in New York. Because I lived there for a bit, like a few months at a time over the past few years. But you wanna contact New York, what are they called? New York State, is it? They got an acronym for them. New York State Department of Health, that's it. NYSDOH. Yeah, you want to contact maybe Department of Health. Or are those the people? Actually, I don't know if that is those people, because those are the people that I think I had to contact when I had a fridge outside my apartment. And they were like, you can't have that in because it will get rats or some shit. And then they fined us for having a fridge outside. I'm just like, bro, I need to take it to the dump. But yeah, I don't know if it was Department of Health, but it's one of them. Battlestar says, Obamacare actually screwed my family when first implemented. Healthcare for family jumped from 400 to 1,300. Battlestar, you're paying for all the illegals, mate. You're paying for the illegals. No, I'm joking. Yeah, that's why a lot of people weren't happy with Obamacare. I think the problem with Obamacare is that they've rolled it out too drastically. It should have done it in some like gradual way. Because taking that big of a hit can make people, mad. But at the same time, I'm sure, Battlestar, you feel like, imagine someone's parents die and they were a dependent and then they turn in 18, 19, and they have no ability to get income, and then they get a chronic condition. Surely the state should help them, otherwise they're just going to die. So there's got to be, see, this is the thing, a lot of people think that I'm totally against socialized healthcare, probably because I put headlines like socialized healthcare sucks. But the reality is I'm advocating for a mixed healthcare model, because I'm basically saying socialized healthcare should not be 100% socialized. It should be like 10%. You understand? We got 13 people in the live. Obviously, TikTok obviously limits my live. Like, it's getting to the point where like I'm even considering moving to another platform, which would be a shame because I love TikTok. But I'm just like, the level to which they limit me, bro. I literally see the dumbest lives talking about should black and white people live together. I just see the dumbest stuff on TikTok, and they literally Let that shit go to 500, 700. My shit, they limit me constantly. It makes me want to just end the lives because I'm like, bro, I'm putting all this effort. TikTok want to limit my shit, man. Okay, I think I'm actually going to end the live now. I want to go and have breakfast. Do you guys hear the background noise a lot? Could it be that people are just annoyed about the background noise? Maybe it could be that. Decentralized says, I have a very interesting story and want your help. I want to join your campaign. Please message me. Teddy's Backfoot says, is alive 18 plus? Pretty much. I mean, if you're a 17-year-old and you sneak on, I don't ask people's age unless I hear their voices like hi. Yeah, background noise there. Yeah, it could be the background noise. Let's get the final guest on and then I'm going to lock it off because, yeah, I think maybe it is me. I take some accountability. Maybe I shouldn't go live with background noise. What's up, Sad Bunny?
Hi, so I got a question.
How old are you?
You just said you don't ask people age.
How old are you? You have a high voice.
I'm 21.
Okay, go on.
But anyway, I just want to say, fuck Cardi B, Team Nicki Minaj, fuck you, Team Nicki Minaj, Team Nicki Minaj, Team Nicki Minaj.
I didn't even hear what you said. Okay, anyway, yeah, background noise. Okay, someone said background noise is not bad. Okay, well, anyway, let's lock this live off. I'm cold. What the fuck? Did I leave my window open? I left my window open. Okay, bro. Let me do a live again later. On a different topic. I'll probably do the America Live later, so we can still talk about healthcare if anyone wants to talk about it. Send me a DM if you want to contact me personally. Oh, did I set it to 18 plus? If you swear, you get restricted. Oh. Do I have to set lives to 18 plus? How do I do that? How do I set the lives to 18 plus? Thank you for that information. Oh, let's get to YouTube family. What was YouTube family saying? Melanistic says private health insurance in the UK doesn't cover certain things, including pre-existing conditions. That's true. Jenny says about there not being state hospitals. She says, oh, well, actually, she's asked a lot of things. Hold on. What was the gestational age of my daughter? She was born at 25 weeks. She died at 5 months old. Melanistic says, I feel in the UK the public have unrealistic expectations about NHS healthcare. I think they should expect a good healthcare system considering how much they're paying for it. Jenny also says, in response to me saying that New York does have state hospitals, she said New York totally different than any other part of the USA, but there's other state hospitals. It says here, University of Texas Medical Branch, University of Maryland Medical Center in Baltimore, University of Alabama Hospital. So it's university hospitals that are state hospitals, presumably. I mean, I don't live in those places, but I know for sure that they had state hospitals in New York. Private health insurance in the UK. Yeah, oh, we already said that. Oh, you just DM'd me. Battlestar says, did you see a video of dental office which opened up that had hundreds waiting in line? Is that in the UK? Christ resurrected. I don't know what we're going to do about this old UK. I don't know what we're going to do. Yeah, let me figure out, actually, just before I go, let me figure out how do I make my lives 18 plus. How to make a TikTok live 18 plus. Is that why everybody asks how old are you on their lives? Okay. Open the live setup screen. When you press live, add the title, set the live as 18 plus. TikTok quietly rolled out mature themes 18 plus setting for live creators. If it's available in your region, do this. On the live setup, look for the settings gear. Okay. Tap mature themes or age restrictions. I can't see that. Oh, on the live setup. So when I make the live, I should put it as 18 plus. TikTok will show a message. Only users aged 18 or over will be able to view the live. Even though you mark the live 18 plus. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Okay. If I don't mark the live as 18 plus, will it restrict its viewership if I swear? Yeah. Oh shit. Who gave me that info? Was it decentralized? Damn, bro. Yes, if you don't mark your live as TikTok 18 plus and you swear or use strong language, the algorithm will automatically restrict visibility, mute you, or even pause or ban the stream. TikTok's moderation is partly automated. TikTok's AI and moderation bot scan audio in real time. If it detects profanity, mute, it will pause, shadow restrict the stream. Oh. You might not get a visible warning. Viewership just drops suddenly. Interesting. Thanks for that. So let's see what happens next time I do the live stream with 18 plus, because that would make a lot of sense, because I talk about, because I talk a lot about my daughter's death. So talking about the talking about my daughter's death, shadow restricted. That makes a lot of sense, because pretty much every single live I say the NHS killed my daughter. Oh shit. Talking about your daughter's death or any traumatic or distressing topic can sometimes trigger automatic visibility suppression. It's designed to reduce the exposure to graphic, distressing, or sensitive content. Wow, topics like death, abuse, or hospitals can trigger sensitive content filters. The intent and tone make a difference. If the system detects emotional distress, crying, or repeated reference to death, it assumes trauma content. Okay. If the tone is calm, educational, or documentary style, it's much less likely to be flat. But I still talk about a lot of other stuff. Okay, we're going to do 18 plus lives from now on. Let's lock off this live. Thank you everyone for joining the live. It's obviously available on YouTube. I don't think I'm going to clip this live, but we didn't get that many clips from the live. But I'll go live again shortly. I mean, maybe not shortly. Maybe like nighttime. Like, I'll probably be live again at like 9 p.m. 10. I know I might go see my friend today. Anyway, see you guys later. Bye bye. Thank you, YouTube and Facebook stream. We're gonna lock it off and should get more viewers next stream, because I've just figured out I've probably been shadow restricted. Okay.